You are in the zone with Cranky and the Swagman for the first time in a few weeks.
Yes.
When is this going to work? There we go. All right. So,
Howdy.
howdy. It's unfortunately been a couple of weeks.
It has. Don't mind me, I'm just eating lunch at the same time.
Listen, it's not lunchtime for the rest of us, okay? Some of us are at 3:10 in the afternoon.
Mine's just
It's
gone
beer
1
o'clock for
1.
me.
Beer o'clock, yes. Sunday beer o'clock.
That is correct. Sunday
So
is beer o'clock for me.
there's been a
Um,
fair amount of shit that's happened the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and
Quite a lot.
most of it's been yours. You've had some pretty cool updates and also some
Yes.
pretty shit ones, haven't you?
Most of the shit ones. So I ended up with pneumonia. So the day that we were going to record, I ended up in ED.
Yeah.
And that took me off my feet for about a good 2 weeks. And
Oh, bloke, you
turns
should have
out I
seen the
had bloody
photos I was
pneumonia.
getting.
Oh, I
The
was hooked up
pictures.
to everything.
Oh, mate. He's sending me photos of tubes coming out of every orifice in the hospital bed.
I think the worst one was the where they put the rubber glove on and they got to go through the back end.
Oh, yeah.
that was the worst one.
And it's not even, they don't even bother to make the nurse look like the girl from the Blink-182 album cover, do they?
No. I swear my nurse, she just wanted to put the glove on. They wanted to
the
see if there was any
snap.
bleeding. Yeah, that's when you know everything's going to hell, when you hear the snap at the end of it.
That's when you know she takes pleasure in her work.
That's where you get the. So we're going to have to go somewhere else and check. And they give it some sort of fancy name like lumbar spine something. How about just call it what it is? I'm going to stick my finger up your ass and see if you're bleeding. You don't need a fancy medical term for it.
Yeah, there's no lumbar up there, love.
Yeah. But on the other plus side, I did have the newborn. So, yeah, the missus, on the 30th of May, we had a little baby boy finally come in. So 7 pounds, 1 ounce. And it was 3:11 in the afternoon. They popped the waters the day before for the inducement because it was meant to be on the 29th. But we ended up having him on the 30th.
Congratulations. And I have another sound bite for you. Actually, no, the live studio audience heard all that, so hang on a sec.
There we go. Yes, thank you. My Bankwest details are 3. No. $408,000 just appears in my account would be great. Speaking of money, did you see what happened with the lottery and what area it was?
Yeah, I did. Well, that's
Bondi, of all places
bullshit,
that
isn't it?
doesn't need money, would be someone in Bondi, the richest suburb really of Sydney, or one of the richest suburbs of Sydney, and it happens to be bloody Bondi.
Yeah, this person won the $100 million, but I mean, we can't really judge a person on their circumstances. You never know. This person who quote unquote lives in Bondi might be living in a tent in the bush somewhere up there.
Well, that is true. It could be someone that was just hustling through Centrelink, but
yeah,
highly doubtful. But there's definitely it has to be someone that was local. The card's apparently registered, but no one's come forward with the registered ticket yet. So it's registered to an account that they can't get a hold of, or it's not registered. I can't remember what they said. One of the other, they can't get a hold of the person that's won either way.
Call a redraw. They can only redraw after 3 months, can't they?
Well, it'll just sit there. They've got, I think it's 12 months to claim the ticket, and then the ticket dies off. So I would say after 12 months, if no one's claimed it, then it'll go back into the kitty and say, well, no one's claimed it. But I'm sure the media will, be all over it before then. So someone will eventually claim it. and come forward.
Oh,
But
it'll cost them a lot less
what I
to.
think it could be someone that's going through the court system or going through a divorce, so they're just waiting for everything to be finalized, and then they'll claim the 100 million. That's what I reckon might have happened. I reckon someone's going through a court system or a childcare case or something, doesn't want to claim this 100 million because then it will have to be split.
Well, not necessarily, actually. I think when it comes to child support, Australia's kind of unfair or fair depending on whose side you're on in that way, in that winnings aren't considered a taxable income.
That is true, but it can be used as a household income.
Can
So
it? I didn't know
that's
that.
where they get you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, any winnings or anything you get can, like gifts, as you would call them,
Mm.
yeah, taxable income is the only thing that can be used. But how they get around that, and I pulled them up on it when I was going through it just recently,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
they turn around and say, "What's your household income?"
Mm.
Well,
Mm.
my argument to that is you don't need to know my household income because that happens to be my wife's income.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Exactly.
income has nothing to do with my wife's income, but what they do is because they know they can't ask directly for your wife's income,
Mm.
they've slotted in their household income,
Household
which then
income.
you
Mm.
have to tell them about. So I plain out refused and said, I'm not giving you my household income because my household income is my wife's income. My income is my income, which at the moment it is zero due to my back and
Yeah.
everything else going
Yeah.
on. I only get the family tax A and B, and that is it. My wife's
Mm.
income is the household income, but I'm not giving you that household income because that is my wife's income. So
No,
I
well,
put my
really,
foot down on
it's
it
none of their
and
concern.
it ended up going through to like a case manager and all that. And I told her the situation. And I said, look, I'm just not giving it because the household income belongs to my wife.
Yeah.
She understood. And they go, oh, we don't use your wife's income. I said, oh, that's great then. I said, so you don't need my household income because that belongs to my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it stumped them. It sent them quiet. And they're like, "Oh, but you need to tell us your household income." So it depends on who you get and how much you fight it.
See, that's where you
So
can go, well, you see, my income within the house is exactly the same as my regular income. So that's what you guys are going to get.
yeah, and that was my argument to it. In the end, I won the argument, but this is months and months of arguing until it finally got to a case manager, who
Mm,
then I
mm,
sent my argument across to them again, explained that household income is my wife's. You don't need that.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just plain out refused.
Well,
But they
yeah, none of
can,
their
if you
business.
get somebody that just doesn't want to fight it and, just goes, oh, okay, then they'll end up giving that information. So if I was to win 100 million and my ex said, oh, but his means are a lot more now, he's won lotto or he's got financial income, they can do what's called a reassessment based on your financial standings.
Mm.
And
But
that's where they stuff you up.
I take issue with that as well because winnings are not income, right? So where
Correct.
it becomes income, because an income is defined as a steady amount of money coming into the house on a regular basis. You're not getting that $100 million on a regular basis. So what your
No,
income would be is if you were to invest that $100 million, um, your
and that's a
income
hundred
would be that
of whatever's
interest coming
left.
off
Yeah.
the $100 million, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's why they issued a warning. Centrelink put a thing out, and Child Support put a thing out saying, "Warning to whoever wins the 100 million," and it had all these terms and conditions that you do have to report it because if you have a child support case, it shows that you have a wealthy, not so income, but you have a better financial standing now to be able to support your children more. And they'll base it off what you've got in your bank account. So
Yeah.
your best bet is to, yeah, you've won the money, don't put it in your account.
To be fair though, right? If it was me, I would probably give my ex. If I won 100 million bucks, I'd give my ex like 10 million. I'd be like, no skin off my back. Don't ask me
I
for
know.
anything else, you know?
That's the, yeah, I'd be getting it legalized saying, here's a once off payment,
Yep,
but this
yep.
is all you'll be getting.
This is
There'll
a
be
once-off payment.
nothing else.
10% of my winnings went to her as agreed with my regular income because I think child support works it out to be roughly 10 cents in the dollar or something like
So
that.
something like that, something
Um,
stupid like that.
yeah.
But yeah, you could make an agreement to say that she can't claim any more child support for the remainder of the kids' upbringing as of this as being a one lump sum for the entirety of, say 20 years or at least 25 years of their life. Now, if she blows that, once the kids are 18, that's it. Or if the kids become financially independent. So there's two ways to get
Mm,
out of child
mm.
support. That's if the kids hit 18 or they become financially independent, which they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
technically become financially independent at the age of 14, depending if they decide to stay in school or if they decide to go full-time job.
Yeah, if they want to get a job, they want to get emancipated or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's just as simple as
excuse
putting
me.
in a reassessment to child support to say, hey, my son and daughter are working now, and they earn this amount. They're self sufficient. They don't need my support anymore because they're supporting themselves.
Well, what I'd
And
be
then
doing is, like I said, and you said as well, I'd get it done legally. I'd get a lawyer involved, draw
100%.
up a contract that says um, that $10 million is only to be put into a bank account or something like that, or invested in in something wise in the
Mm.
kids' names, right?
The best
And
way that
then
I've worked out as well is if you
when
put $200,000 in a high interest earner account.
mm,
Say
mm,
you done it right now, put 200 grand away, high interest earner account. I worked out by the time that you're 67, you'll have over $2 million sitting in that account from
yeah,
all the interest and everything, not touching it. You could add to it. And that's just based off the current index. Now, the
mm,
index obviously changes quite often. So it goes up, come down, go up, go down. Theoretically, you'd have more than the 2 mil there. So you could
well,
even
that's
set
true.
up a high interest earner account for retirement for them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd essentially be doing, right? I'd be putting it in. I'd be telling her to put it into a high interest account, making sure that the lawyer puts that into the contract, and then say, right, once the kids turn 25, the youngest turns 25, whatever is in that account, because I'll be relying on the interest from that account to be paying the child support for me, right?
Correct.
So whatever's left in that account at the end of that period. So he's
Which will still be a
now,
fair amount,
oh
would
fuck
be a
yeah, oh yeah,
shitload off
it'd
that.
be it'd be more than what I put in there. That's for sure.
Oh,
Um,
100%. Especially
because
if you
there'd
put
still
10 mil
be,
in there.
oh yeah, there'd still be interest building
Yeah, 100%.
building in there. But I digress. I'd be saying once, say Henry, he'll be 7 this year, so that's what 18 years from now. That money gets split 3 ways between the 3 kids.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, and each of them then gets to, what is it? 3.3 million, depending
Oh,
on how much
insane.
the interest is.
We just need to have a good lotto win. That'd be nice. Just
come,
like
come
I'd be
on,
happy
come
with
on.
500,000 to be fair. Like if I could just win 500,000 Division 2 even, like just to
Mm-hmm.
get a few 100,000 paid off, it it would be nice.
I might smash the
But
mortgage out. I know for
with no
sure.
mortgage, the money that it frees up, literally holidays to wherever, whenever,
Mm-hmm.
not having to think about, oh, we got the mortgage coming up, so we got to put half the paycheck away. It's, oh, do we want to travel here? Do we want to go to Albany? Do we want to go to Broome, Port Edland, Kalgoorlie, wherever? Do we want to go out the bush for 2 weeks?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind of it just frees up the rest of our lives to do whatever we want to do.
Well, it's no
Um,
longer a mortgage,
yeah, exactly right. It's something we own. The
because
only thing you got to worry about is obviously your council rates that'll come in, the maintenance of your house,
I
and
mean, what are council rates really? A council rates are like $1,000 a quarter.
highway
May-
theft. Really, is what I
Maybe,
call
you know.
them.
Yeah, but if it,
That
if it
they
wasn't
don't do
for,
anything, but every year they keep going up, but they don't do anything to require them going up.
yeah,
I
when are you
think
going to
it's gonna
come? When are you going to come mow the laneway down the side of my house, assholes?
Yeah, I think it's gonna get to a point, and the government's already started doing it, where they're gonna start individually auditing councils to see where money is going.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they have done it in the past, and they'll continue to do it because councils have, for no reason at all, decided that they're gonna increase the rates again, this year. Um, and everyone's up in arms about it. The media's been all
Oh,
over it,
mm.
saying, "Well, what have you done to deserve the increase?" And all it is them paying themselves more money.
Yeah,
So it's so
there are
they can give
more
their
more
own
bonuses
paychecks a
going out.
boost.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's pretty
yeah.
much it. Yeah.
But it
They're
is what
not.
it is. We don't get a fucking choice. We don't even get to vote that.
No, we don't get to vote on local council, do we?
No, that is kind, and they advertise it, but they don't advertise it so much that people become aware of it.
Mm,
They
of course
advertise it
not.
maybe in one place, and it might be in the newspaper or it might be on a notice board somewhere. So then they've met the minimum legal requirements to give
Well,
notification. And if someone can't find that information of what's going on, well, you miss the window to appeal that decision.
it's like, have you ever seen that movie, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No, I have not.
Okay. There's a bit in the beginning where the council's gonna bulldoze the main character's house, right? Um, so it pans in on him, the main character, laying on his back in front of a bulldozer, and the council planner comes down and he's like, "Sir, Um, you've had your opportunity to express your concerns about this because these plans have been on display at your local council planning office for months now." And he goes, "What do you mean on display? I had to walk down to a cellar." I was like, "Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds
Yeah,
just like
yeah, yeah.
Australian council."
That's literally what they do. They'll display it within their own house, and then if they get asked, "Did you advertise?" They'll go, "Yeah, it was on the council notice board."
It was on the
Where
council notice board, but that means we had to go to the council offices to read the fucking notice
to
board.
read the notice board, correct. So they say, "Oh, yeah," so they meet legal requirements, minimum legal requirements to jump through a hoop that it doesn't pass the pub test. It never has, it never
Uh,
will, but that's what they do. When something needs to be changed or appealed to, they go, "Well, how can we advertise this where, you know, 95% of people won't look?"
uh, uh.
And I think that loophole needs fixed where they have to do at least a $10,000 advertising campaign. They have to put it on Facebook. They have to put it in the media. They have to let people know that flyers or letterbox drops, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because I
They got to
mean,
let people know what's
mm,
going to be happening.
we're not all of retiree age. Okay, sorry, swag man. I know you apparently are, but
No, well,
no,
at the age
no,
of 35, I am
no.
now medically retired. Yes.
I mean, if if this was what 100 years ago, we'd be at retirement age, 35. But anyway, I digress. Not everybody has the time to go into the council offices and look at these things because, like, especially not if we don't know that anything's happened, right? Take my current situation, for example. I work most of the time hundreds of kilometers outside of town. I'm normally out of the house by like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm usually home by about 7. And that is going to be changing soon, which I will tell you about in just a minute,
Let's
Swagman.
go.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Um,
Getting a new car with
but
new hours, eh?
I'll talk about that a bit later on. Um, but yeah, my point is, um, we don't all have the kind of time on our hands to just walk into an office in between the hours of 8:30 and 4 p.m.
Oh, no. No, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
that's still working has the opportunity to go in there and actually go, "Oh, I didn't know I could appeal this," or "I didn't know this."
Mm.
It was like they have a community held event, but none of the community knows about it, just other than the council heads.
Yeah, yeah.
So, oh, this is
Even
your opportunity to raise your concerns, and maybe only a handful, maybe 20 to 30 people will turn up because only those 20 to 30 people knew about it. And that's
yeah.
probably word of mouth of the people that work within the council themselves that have told their family and their friends have told their family.
And
So you only get about 50 people that turn up.
those people only know about it because they're interested in it because they like what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly
They're
right.
excited about what's going to happen. So of course most people are going to
And
vote yes. You're going to get
there was a
like an
thing on a
80% yes
current
vote on
affair
whatever
not
shit
too
happens.
long ago as well, where
Mm.
people voted against something that the council were doing, and the council just went against everything that the community said anyway and went ahead and did it anyway. So it
Yeah,
doesn't even
yeah.
matter. It's just a consultation to get our feedback. But
Mm.
it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change their mind. They've already made their mind up, but they've got to tick the box that says, "Did you consult with everyone in the area, or did you consult with the constituents?"
Yeah, yeah.
And if they can't tick that box, they can't then go, "Yes, we've done everything legally." So they do it by already knowing what they're going to do, but then bring everybody in to say, "Yeah, we did that. We took their feedback on, but we're still going in this direction anyway." So it's just a box. It's just a work compliance box they've got to tick.
Like, at
A
least
legal box.
why can't they at least put notices up in the library, for example, or at the doctor's office, where
Well,
somewhere where people are actually going to be sitting around and looking
seeing it,
at the walls.
yeah, but
Yeah.
where people are actually going to read it, see it, the sole reason is because they don't want people to really know what's going on.
Yep.
And they want the time to lapse, especially if it's something to do with a reserved area, or if it's a new building
Mm.
that they want to build, or if it's a new, whatever.
Yeah, they kind of want to just get it done on the hush.
Yeah, they want to get it as low on the hush as possible, and as low disruption as possible, because they know if they get too many people in there contesting it,
Yep.
and it brings the media in. And once the media jumps into it, that's it. Then they're like, oh, well, let's see how this unfolds. And if it doesn't unfold in our favor, the media is going to go, but you had 900 people here telling you that they didn't want this. You had the
Yep.
whole of this suburb telling you they didn't want this, and you went and did it anyway. Why? And the council don't want that heat. They want plain, simple, everything to flow through with as little hassle as possible. But lately, all it's been is giving themselves pay
Mm.
rises.
No, that's it. And the thing is, right, I don't know about the rest of Sydney, okay, but Campbelltown, where I live, is actually far enough away from Sydney that we have our own community-based radio station,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, yeah, it's actually
You got
pretty
your
cool.
own
They
little
play,
local station.
yeah, it's called C91.3 FM. I
Yeah,
listen to it
right.
all the time. They've got an app and everything. They actually do a pretty good job, and they play some half decent music. Like they play everything from Chapel
They
Roan
give away
to
promos
Queen.
or gifts
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that.
There are
Yeah,
heaps of
right.
promos, but like it only broadcasts around the Macarthur and Campbelltown region. So why the
Yeah,
fuck
okay.
can the council not broadcast their stuff on that and just say
Exactly
pay
right.
them to be like, hey, look, just so you guys know, the council's going to be putting this forward, this referendum this
Most
weekend.
radio stations will do it for free if
Yeah.
it's a good topic as well. They won't
Oh
even
yeah.
charge the
Yeah.
person to advertise it, especially if it's the council, because most councils will subsidise radio stations. So they'll, give them donations or whatever to keep it running, or advertise here and there for them. So nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, the radio station will turn around and go, yeah, we'll advertise that for free without a
And
cost.
and I know for a fact, right, that most of the businesses around here are all playing that particular radio station
Yeah.
because
Oh, it's the
I
only
go
one we
into
get.
those businesses. Yeah, it's not the only one we get. We get the Sydney stations as well because we're not that
Kiss
far from
FM and
Sydney.
all
So
that.
we get like, oh, fucking kiss my ass.
Oh,
Uh,
come on, Carl Sandilands is
I
giving away
can't
money.
stand Carl Sandilands. Don't bring him up here. He
Uh,
irritates me. You know what shits me so much about my
they
drive
don't
to
even
work
they don't even
is
have a
that
uniform to go to work. They just come in like if they've had a big night the night before. They'll come in with no shoes on,
oh, absolutely.
look like they're
But
hungover, and they're still doing the show the next morning. It's just like,
there's
come straight from
um
the nightclub to work.
as you know, I take the motorway to work most days, and right now, okay, there is a big ass Kiss FM billboard hanging from one of the bridges over the motorway, and it's every morning I get greeted by fucking Carl Sandilands' face, and I can't stand him.
You should hit him up to say, "Hey, Kyle, 10 grand." Hey, when he asks
Just
why,
for
is this guy
looking at ya.
just have to look at you every morning I drive into Sydney. See what he says. Yeah, we can
It'll
never get a hold of
probably
them. So when they advertise all their stations over here, we
mm,
get to hear it, but it's
yeah,
always like a repeat. Like it's
yeah,
a so when we try to call in, the you get the engage sound on the phone, or call
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
connect, or it drops out. It doesn't actually
Mm.
call through because we don't get them live.
Yeah, you'd get them sort of 2 or 3 hours behind, hey?
Pretty much. Or if there's
Because
nothing
they,
good
they
that's
can't
got to
be
play
saying
or
that they're
fill
going to put
in.
on, they can't say they're going to put on the breakfast show, and the breakfast show starts at 3 a.m. for you guys. That won't
Yeah,
work.
pretty much if we want to listen to them, we've got to be up super, super early and
Mm.
listening via an app. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's the only way to do it. And I'm not even going to bother.
It's not worth it.
No.
I remember back in the days when I was in Cooma, excuse me, and I was volunteering at the community radio station myself. We used to do this really cool thing where at the end of the day, right, the end of the broadcasting day was 10 p.m. I had the last show. So what I'd do, and don't tell my Don't tell my supervisor this. My supervisor from those days, anyway, don't tell her this. I used to take a 6-pack of beer in there with me. And at the end of the show, we would switch over to satellite radio, which would cover all of Australia, right? So all the community-based radio stations will switch over to this one station, and it is made up of about 10 different radio stations throughout the outback, and it made for a really interesting listen. And because there are absolutely bugger all people awake at night listening to these stations, right? I used to just sit in the studio with my headphones on listening. I'd have a beer in hand. Okay. You know how many fucking competitions I won because I was the only person calling in?
Yeah,
I
that's the
still
way you got to
have.
do it.
There'd be like maybe 6 listeners to each of these programs, right? Throughout the entire nation. I still have a book that I won. It's not on the bookshelf next to me. It's next to the front door over there. As you can see the front door there,
yeah.
Swagman. It's called the Ride of Our Lives by Mike Leonard, and it's a pretty good book. But like, man, I won so much shit from radio stations doing that just because I was the only person listening.
I seem to get the case of beer. Like I've won cases of beer from 92.9. I've won tickets to the football, speedway tickets, concert tickets. So there's a few little things that I've won from 92.9. Seem to be on their hot speed list. They ever need someone to give a story or on a topic that they're doing and they can't get any callers in for it, they'll call me up and go, "Hey, have you got any views on this topic?"
And
if
boy,
I've
do we
got
know
something, I
that
get the
Swagman
prize.
has some views on everything.
Oh, I've got views on everything. So I usually end up winning a fair amount from them. Some of the major prizes I don't bother. They're just too hard. They've got one running at the moment, which is wheelie bin of fortune or something like that. Something to do with guessing what's in the wheelie bin. And then there's another one where you've got to the worst prize ever given, but you can't nominate yourself. You've got to nominate someone else to win the worst prize. Now it's the worst prize, but it's the most valuable prize.
Yeah.
So it's a bad prize, but it's worth money. So work that one out.
Give us an example. What's the worst prize? What's
there's nothing bad that I could think of that would be a bad prize, but then worth a lot of money. Like, what are we talking about? A fridge? It's a bad prize. Why would you want to win a fridge? Most people got a fridge. Why would you want to win a fridge? Is it a microwave? Is it a
I could think right. I could
set
think
of kitchen knives or something.
Do you remember that episode of The Simpsons where Bart wins an elephant?
Something
I reckon
like that.
an elephant would be a really expensive prize, but also a really shit thing to have.
Yeah, and it's something like that. It's something so stupid, but apparently it's also valuable. So
I don't know if you saw, but like Tess's head just appeared right there next to the door. Tess loves elephants, and as soon as I started talking about them, I saw her head appear, and she was like,
"What are we talking about now?
Why are you calling elephants shit?"
Oh, look, it's long story short. Yeah, so next topic.
So, next topic.
You're gonna end up in the doghouse.
No, I don't think I'll end up in the doghouse. I think I'll just end up buried. At least I won't feel it. It's a little bit too cold in the doghouse right now.
Yeah, it's raining. It was raining here about bloody 2-3 o'clock this morning. It was pissing down with rain, and got out of. I didn't get out of bed till 10 o'clock today, and then we went down the foreshore. But as we were leaving, the roads were still wet, and we thought, "Oh yeah, I don't think the Sunday markets are going to be on," but we thought we'd go down there, check it out.
Yeah.
Nothing was on.
Okay.
Just pissed down, completely fucking wet, but the whole place was packed. Everyone was down at the foreshore, and it was cold. It was windy.
Well,
everybody loves shitty-ass weather.
Everybody loves their Sunday markets. You get some good shit there.
Yeah, but the Sunday markets weren't even on. That was the weird thing about it. Everyone was down there, and there was no markets. I'm guessing people might have thought they were on, but then they weren't, so they thought, "Fuck it, we'll just stay down here anyway."
Can you imagine being the organizer of the Sunday markets and just being like, "Fuck, everyone came down anyway."
Yeah, you'd be spewing because they do make some money off it. That's for sure.
That's it. So, earlier I got you a little bit hyped up about something, right? Right before we started recording, I went for an hour and a half long walk.
Yes. What is this hour and a half walk you
Yes.
went on? Are you doing some sort of health kick?
No, no, I'm
No.
not.
Did your car break
Well,
down so you were forced to walk?
again, no, no. Let's put
Just
it this way. Pretty soon, neither of us are going to be traffic controllers anymore.
right.
So, I'm changing jobs.
Yeah, right. What's
I'm
go?
completely changing lines of work, actually. Um, I have found a job as a bus driver in my local area.
Yeah, right. Have you
Yeah.
got your bus license?
Not yet, but that's something they will be helping with. They'll do all the training and everything for that.
You're joking.
No,
There's more
well,
money in
no.
that. Being a bus driver can also lead into being a train driver, and once you've
Uh-huh.
got that, you're laughing because, well, train drivers get good money, bus drivers get good money, but
Bus
then you can
drivers
get
are
a
on
bus
about the
driver's job
same as what
at
I'm
the
on.
airport,
Uh,
and the airport here pays about $45 an hour, I think it is, to be a bus driver. Well, I know it was going to pay me $45 an hour to be a bus driver, and that was just driving
uh,
people from private airplanes to the terminal, and that was it.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it
No,
is. It
this
is
is
a good
just
job.
yeah. I'm pretty excited about it.
How good
So
your local knowledge of traffic routes and all that sort of thing. You know your streets quite well.
I know them
Memory.
quite well.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, right, the bus depot is apparently in my suburb. Excuse me. The bus route is also in my suburb, but it took me 45 minutes to walk to the bus stop, to walk to the bus depot.
So that's what you're testing out.
Yep. So that's what I was testing. I was timing myself walking to the bus depot and then walking back, and I found out that the walk two, even though the walk two is about half an hour, according to Google Maps, it's a really shit walk. And all I could think of, right, because half of it is through bushland. And I was like,
Oh
oh, mate,
no.
no, well, I don't mind bushland, right? But it's a very narrow walking track. And I was like, mate, in summertime, this thing is going to be infested with spiders.
Oh, spiders, snakes. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anything that will attack and could kill you will be out and about in the summertime. Uh,
Especially since I walked past some homeless dude's tent and chair sitting out there. I was like,
I'd
oh,
just be
yeah,
getting
nah.
dropped off in the morning because I don't think they're going to give you a car.
Well,
I really don't think they're going to give you a car, a company car, to get to the bus depot to drive the bus in the morning. You'll
no, well,
be having to drive.
it's only a K and a half, so I figured, I'll save some diesel and just I'll figure out how long it takes me to walk there. On
And you
top of
figured
that,
out
they
it's not
have.
worth the walk.
Oh no, it is worth the walk.
Well, you just remember you got to
Yeah,
do a 11 hour shift on at work, and then you're gonna have to, depending what time you finish, walk back home.
I'm fine with that because my mate's house is halfway, so I can
Oh
always stop
yes,
for a few beers as well.
stop for a beer and then get a lift home. Just call the wife up. Hey, come pick us up.
Hey, she's getting her license too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
car license or bus license?
car license.
Oh,
Oh God, look, there's no way she'd be going for a bus license.
okay. Well, it's good that obviously it's going to pay more money, isn't it, being a bus driver?
During the traineeship, no, it'll be paying slightly less than what I'm on now, but as you know, it's a pretty valuable license to have.
Well, yeah, especially because you can use that license anywhere. I would assume
Mm,
anywhere in
mm,
Australia. So if you came to WA or moved to WA, you'd straight up get a job here, or you could even having that PTA
mm,
license,
yeah,
the authority to carry passengers, you'll be able to be a train driver if you applied to be a train driver, like,
yeah, yeah.
so it does have value in that sense that it opens a few different doors, not just bus driving, but,
Well, no, it's
even taxi cabs, it opens that up because that endorsement, sort of taxi driving like an Uber almost, you've already got that sort of side of it, and it's an expensive little license to have as well. So the last time I looked into it, it was gonna cost me
yeah.
about $400 to get. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
because you got all the application process and all that you've got to go to. You've got to pay for a fee here, a fee there, got to pay for that license, but then you've got to pay for a clearance over there. It's all the other little fees included just to get that license that costs the money.
Well, that's the other thing. They must be extremely desperate for bus drivers because they're willing to pay for all of that too. So they're putting me through the Bus Drivers Authority. I've already done that, which is what you just called a PTA. Excuse me. They're putting me through the medium rigid license.
Because you don't have your HR, do you?
No, I don't have my
Oh,
HR.
you should get your HR. That'll open up a whole different can of worms.
Yeah, I know. But look, the way I'm looking at it is, when I'm retired or if I'm just going on holiday somewhere, it'll be cool to be able to rent a bus rather than a
Oh,
van.
100%. 100%. And having that extra license allows you to carry not just your family, but your friends as well. So if you want a bunch of friends to come with you, you can get a bigger bus and you can
Mm,
hire that bigger
mm.
bus because you've got that endorsement. So, yeah, it does come in handy. Definitely a little handy ticket to have or license to have. Um, and yeah, it does have some good job prospects, but at the end of it, I guess if it's after your traineeship, if it's going to put you on a decent wage with good hours, that's where the perks are, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'll be happy just to pot around my area with a bus
Well,
rather
that's
than.
it, and it's less stress. Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say less stress, but I'd say it's kind of less stress because you're not having to deal with the unknown out of nowhere sort of thing. You're not having
Mm,
to
mm.
put your life at risk for, say, standing in the middle of the road or putting cones out or worrying about, your colleague over there because he's not doing the right thing or, someone's got their back turned to traffic when they shouldn't. It's cruising in a
That
sense.
old
It's got its
chestnut.
yes. So it's kind of got its little cruisy perks to it, I guess, where once you know your route
Mm,
that you have to
mm.
go around every day, definitely less stressful.
Well, I know the area pretty well, and I believe that the route that I'll be taking is either here or Minto, I think. But Minto's not far either. It's close enough to still be
Either way,
considered
you'll be
under
driving
the
to your
same
local bus
depot.
depot to get the bus and then drive from there, really.
Pick the bus
Because they'll
up.
have staff bus parking area. I know at the Mandurah one, you'd drive
Mm,
up to
mm,
you drive into the depot, but then you'd drive the same way the buses would go. So you're actually driving the same route the buses come in and out of, and you'd go up
mm.
to like the main, I guess, HQ area, and there'd be staff parking at the back there. So then you're not parked in with everyone else. So then
Yeah.
at the end of your shift, you're going straight from the small office straight into your car and driving out. So, and I believe
Mm,
that's still
mm.
there now. It's got its own little perks. I suppose if it takes you, what, half an hour, 40 minutes to walk, it'd be only, what, 10-minute drive?
Less than that, my man.
Oh, well, there you
6 minute
go.
drive.
6-minute drive. I'd be taking the
Hang on.
6 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
During
yeah. But I
winter, that's
mean,
handy.
yeah, it's handy in winter, yeah. But I mean, that's not even enough time for my car to warm up because it's a diesel.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's gonna take you,
Hang on a
what,
sec.
10 minutes just to warm it up.
I'll get it. Literally, I'll show you. Right, ready? The driving route on Google Maps. Look at the
Everyone get
fuck,
ready to see Cranky's home address.
fuck off.
Quick screenshot.
Oh, you
Oh,
can't
you
see it
can't.
too well because of the glare. Can you
That's
see
right.
it?
Everyone's got a gist idea of
Pull
where.
it
Oh,
back a
there you
bit.
go. That's probably the better
There you
way.
go.
Well, it's
Take a
not
look there.
too bad.
6 minutes. Yeah,
6 minutes. Not too bad at all.
makes me happy. It's a lot better than driving for 2 hours to get to
Someone's
work
just
every day.
screenshotted that image and then said, "What is his address based on this image?"
Does that look like Campbell Field? No.
No. Now everyone knows you're in Campbellfield. Gonna have to bleep that one out.
Listen, just because you know my address from the other side of the goddamn world.
Yeah, the one person shouldn't know your address all of a sudden knows your address. On other news, I am coming sort of that way, but not really your direction. I'm going to
Uh,
Melbourne. I believe it's next year.
yeah.
I've got a good mate of mine who's getting married. If we find some time, might shoot across to Sydney and pop me head in and say hello.
Next year,
So
you say?
I think
Okay.
it's next year or the year after. So he said 2 years.
Hmm.
So it just
Two.
depends on when.
Okay. So 2 years from now would be
Yeah,
next
the
Yeah,
following. But they could end up bringing the
2017,
wedding forward. So if they do that,
2027,
then
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, fair.
I will be in Melbourne. I believe it is that we're going to, unless he changes the location of where they're getting married. But yeah, I have to save up for that now. And yeah, we'll be shooting across with a newborn. Well, he won't be so new
Won't
by
be
then. He'll be like
newborn
2.
then, he'll be a
He'll be
toddler.
2. Yeah, he'll be toddler age. So we'll have to pay for
Jeez,
his
and
own bloody seat.
Amara will be what? She'll be fucking nearly 4 by then.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do the same mistake that everyone else does. So let your toddler sit on the lap the whole way because it's painful. So
No.
I think just buy the whole row,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, they have their own seat.
Because it's a 3.5 hour flight from Perth to Melbourne, if I remember
Something like
correctly.
that. And if
Because
they've got the
it's
bigger plane, depending on the day
uh,
and whatnot,
uh,
then I'll be doing the economy plus or the I guess what they call premium, where you kind of get more leg room and a bed, but it depends on what plane they're using on the day. I think it's usually
you'll
the international flight, so you'll get a
you'll
bed, but
very likely be on a Boeing 777.
something like that, yeah.
So it's a smaller plane, but it's a bit newer than a 747, and it's excuse me, it's smaller as well, like I said. But I mean, I'm someone who's made that flight quite a few times.
Oh, yeah. With my FIFO gig, I'm always flying out of Perth and back again. So the amount of different
Uh,
planes we're on. What's the worst is I think the delays because you're
yep,
watching
yep.
the clock and you're like, okay, we're about to board. We're about to board. Yes, we're up next. Fucking 10 minutes to go. Next minute, the PA comes on. Your flight is now delayed for half an hour. Your flight is now delayed for an hour. Your flight is now delayed for another 2 hours. So it's the delays that sort of piss you off because you're stuck in an airport that whole time. And the seats, if you're in a small little country airport, the seats aren't the most comfortable either. So it's,
No, no, they're not.
if you're in a big enough airport, obviously you can choose where you want to go, where you want to sit down. You can go to well, I can. I know I can go to the business lounge regardless. I just swap my Qantas card and in I go. The joys of
Can
having
I
platinum.
can I tell you a funny story about Perth Airport? Last time I was there.
It was 20 years ago.
No, it wasn't 20 years ago. It was only 2017, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
No,
okay, so
actually, it wasn't the last time I was there. It was second last time because I was going over to South Africa, right?
that's
So
right, you gotta do the stopovers.
I'd gotten off the flight from Sydney, okay, and they told me I had a pretty decent wait there. I think it was like an hour and a half wait in Perth before the next leg of my trip. So I was like, okay, cool. I walked over to the gate and I saw that one of the airport lounge bars was 2 gates over. Okay. So I was like, cool, all right, I'll go and sit there. I'll check in and then I'll go and sit at the bar and wait for my flight. Right. So I check in, I go and order a pint, right? And I sit down at the bar and wait. And I'm sipping at my pint. And about 10 minutes later, I hear over the PA system, well, Mr. Ryan P, not going to say my full name, please report to gate A28.
No.
Mr. Ryan P, please come to gate A28. Okay, sculled the entire pint in
Oh,
one go.
no,
I've
and then you've
never
had to
sculled a pint in
run.
my life, right? Because I'm from New South Wales. We have schooners here. They're smaller than pints.
Yeah.
I sculled the whole pint, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on here? So I grabbed my passport, I grabbed my boarding pass, and I ran over to the gate, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm Ryan, um, and they're like, no, we just wanted to make sure you were here.
Oh, come off,
Are you kidding me? Like, you mean I could have sat for another hour and just sipped at my pint and watched the world go by, and you made me rush for this bullshit? Come on.
they seriously called you up just to check that you had made it through.
Yep, yep.
Wow. I've never the only time I've heard them call someone over the PA is if they're running late or they're waiting on that person to board the plane because, they're not there yet. Everyone else has boarded. Can so and so please report to gate? Your plane is about to leave. Everyone has boarded, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
And that's usually the reason they're calling you up. I've never heard of them bloody doing that. That's insane. That's so stupid.
So I
because
will
that'll
say,
put anyone into a panic.
oh yeah, I'll cut it. I cut it down a bit. There were actually about 5 or 6 names that they called, and that was because my flight from Sydney was expected to be delayed, and it
Yeah,
wasn't.
right, and it
It ended
wasn't.
up arriving early.
So they were just checking that everyone's actually made it, and I would have just waited till, at least 20 minutes before the
It's like,
flight and then called everyone.
motherfucker, you couldn't have just checked
"Hey, can so and so
the
please
check-in
report to the
details.
check-in, so we know you've arrived. Please
Yeah,
report to this gate so we can check that you are here." Like, give it more context other than, "Please report to the gate urgently."
I was like, no, damn. Now I got to go back over there and pay for a second pint.
Yeah, second round. And it
I
never
was
works
like,
out well when you scull beer, it never goes down too well, like,
no, it
especially
just
when you gotta
goes.
go into a sprint afterwards.
Luckily for me, I didn't have to sprint. Like I said, the bar is only about 2 gates over
From
from
where
where I was
you were.
supposed to be.
I would've
I
just
don't know.
taken
I
the
was
beer
just,
with me and gone, "Okay, so where are we going?" And then if
where we
someone pulled you
going,
up,
mates?
I didn't know whether I was getting on the plane or not, so I thought I'd bring this with me. And if someone had
But
stopped you, you could have said, "Well, I'm playing dumb." Just play dumb.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to
Didn't
bring
know
this
I could
over
leave the
here,
bar with this.
mate. Shit, sorry. Just putting the glass into me pocket.
That's it.
Speaking of beers, I'm gonna go grab a couple more, and then after that, why don't we talk about Bella Bliss?
Yes, we can.
All right, radio, I'm back.
Rightio. I've just gone to check on the baby. 2 secs.
How's he doing?
He is doing all right.
It was Logan, if I remember correctly, right?
That is correct. Yes, Logan. All right, 2 secs. I'm just going to put this on mute because I'm walking in the room.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
All righty, I am back. It would help if I started talking when the mic was on. I was talking the whole
It's
time and then realized I forgot that I'd put it on mute. So
it,
yes,
it usually helps, yeah.
it usually helps. Bellow Bliss.
Yeah,
Um,
Bella Bliss.
I
So
sent you a packet recently. How did that
yes,
go?
I was going to say, in the last fortnight, Bagman was kind enough to send me a 10-pack of Bello Bliss. Now, the thing is, a 10-pack doesn't sound like a lot, does it, Swagman?
No, it doesn't. It
But
really doesn't sound like it goes very far.
when you consider the fact that a 10-pack, if used economically, even though on the bag it says it will last you maybe 4 showers, um, between Tess and I, we've managed to stretch them out to 6 showers.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you use them economically, right, they can last you 60 showers, which is a lot.
A lot of showers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're disgusting and you only shower once a week, that's more than a year's worth of showers.
Yes, no. Definitely shower more than once a week, people. Don't come to work with green armpits. No one wants to smell your BO. And how well did it work for your nasal problem?
Well, as you can hear at the moment, my nose is a bit blocked up.
Yes. But that's
That
due to
does
you having a cold.
no. Oh well,
Well, the
I don't really have a cold. It's just winter, so it gets
winter.
a little bit more blocked up than usual. But it has been helping a lot.
Yeah.
It actually makes me look forward to having a shower every night. Um, because it makes the whole room smell nice.
It does. It
Like,
gives it that nice aroma, doesn't it? And you walk in,
yeah,
you're like,
you
oh,
sent
what
me
is that smell? It
the.
smells so good.
I think you sent me the honey lemon ones, or was it
Yes,
lemon
the
and lime? There's some.
eucalyptus.
There's
I
a
think it's
really strong lemon scent that it just fills
yeah,
the
it's
whole bathroom
lemon
with.
eucalyptus of some sort. It's
Yeah,
like the yellow packet, but they're
and
really good.
standing there in the shower with the hot water going, I can just breathe it in. Okay, and it immediately, it's not like over the course of the shower, it almost immediately just melts away
Yeah.
all the blockages in your nasal cavity and in your sinuses.
You can breathe. Just it feels so good. It makes you want to stay in the shower longer as well, just so you can keep breathing it in.
It's
I'm
sort of
lucky
bad for the
because I've
water
got
bill
a.
like that.
It is because my water bill comes in quite high. Probably not as high as everyone else's, but I'm still getting a 245, $250 water bill. But that's also included with the sewage rates and water
Mm,
rates on
mm.
top of that. So
Well,
if you
that's
count
about what
water
I get
usage, it's
too.
probably minimum. compared to all the other fees that are included in that. And we don't get discounts or anything because apparently we're not entitled to a concession on our water or anything because the wife's income is
Mm.
over the threshold of 62,000.
Yeah.
What I believe they class now as low income is so stupid. I know with child support they think 18,500 or 27,500, I believe it is their self-support income. We all know that you'd have to be on at least 65 to 70,000
Mm.
for
Mm.
self-support income these days because of the way cost of living is. There's no
No,
way you
that's
can live off
absolutely correct.
27,500 or 28,500. You can't live off 30 grand a year, basically.
No, you
You
can't.
can just barely get by, but if you have to pay rent and all your other bills, phone bills, uh, if you've got fuel or a smart rider and you've got to top that up, that money's gone pretty quick.
Mm. Mm.
I know that the
See,
Centrelink wage isn't that much either. You don't get a lot for Centrelink, so that's quite little.
mm. See, the
Um,
problem is, right, these government bodies like Centrelink, for example, they take the average for the entire country,
mm,
right? What they're not doing that they need to be doing is taking the average wage for each area rather than for the entire country. So what they're saying, right? So take me for example, I'm on about 75,000 a year,
yeah,
right? And they're like, "Oh no, that's heaps. That's enough for you to survive because
yeah,
there are a ton of Australians on $30,000 a year, and that's perfectly okay for them to live on." And that's when I'm like, no, what you need to understand is that these Australians that are on $30,000 a year are living in places like Toowoomba and Cooma, places where the rent is like $300 a week,
yeah, yeah.
right? Where the cost of living isn't as high as it is in Sydney.
Well, that's it, and
Okay,
it's only going to
because
get worse because Anthony Albanese, he's only just started his term of being minister again
yeah,
because somehow Labor has won again because of all the idiots that voted for him. He's got in again, and already he's broken nearly every single promise that he told everyone he was going to give.
uh-huh.
Oh, we're going to help you. We're going to bring down the cost of living. We're going to bring down power. We're going to bring down all the water. We're going to bring it down so your cost of living is minimal and you're going to be better off under Labor. The first thing that's happened is the power increase has just gone tenfold. And everyone's going, what the fuck, Albanese? You told everyone you're going to make power cheaper and you've actually increased it.
Yeah,
And
well,
he's
the
increased it ammononic like beyond belief. Like it's just so ridiculously high now. People are just power is becoming unaffordable. Now, luckily for me, I went and got the battery. And people are like, oh, but it's
yeah,
costly to get the battery. Well, it's not if you have a job and you can afford the loan repayment. Luckily enough, life again, we're paying $100 a fortnight for our, well, actually, it's less than that now. It's $75 a fortnight for our battery. But our power bill that we get in every quarter is only $31.
yeah,
So we're not really, and it's not even a power bill, it's an administration fee. So we're paying an administration fee of $31 every time the bill comes in. So some of us are lucky, whereas other
uh,
people are not so lucky, don't have good incomes because of the area they live in. And you can't just leave the area you're living. Some people can't afford to leave living at home with their parents or leave their accommodation to where they are because the next place is twice as expensive. So you're
yeah. Well,
stuck in a rut almost.
there are other factors as well. Like, for example, I get told quite often because I like to complain openly about the cost of living in Sydney. Um, as you know, Swagman, because a lot of it's done to you. Um, I get told, if you don't like it in Sydney, just leave. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
the
Where
problem
would you like
is
us to go? Everywhere is expensive.
exactly.
WA is almost as
It's
expensive. We've been apparently
uh,
named worse than Sydney as the most unaffordable place to live is Western Australia.
really,
We've become just as bad as what Sydney is. Rent on the base rent for a 4x2 over here now is averaging in between $650 and $750 per week.
hey, fuck it,
And
duck.
that's
That
not
is
even
worse.
in a good area.
Because yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
That's in a shitbox area, like.
I'm on 750 square meters, I think. I'm renting, and the rent here is 510 a week.
Yeah. So
But
the further out you get, it can get cheaper, but you're
mm.
then taken away from the job opportunity bracket. Where do you live? Oh, I'm 2
Yep,
hours out of
yep,
town, but I had to move here, otherwise I wouldn't have had a roof over my head. So
yep.
then they go,
And
"Oh, you're too far for this job." So then
and
what? Then you're stuck
it's
on
not
Centrelink.
only that, right? My kids live here. They live with their ex. Oh, sorry, they live with my ex, not their ex. They live with my ex, who lives here in Sydney. So, what good is it going to meet? Is it going to do me moving away from here with, more than an hour or two? Because I mean, even an hour outside of Sydney, say take Newcastle for example, an hour and a half drive away from Sydney, the rent is almost similar. You've got to move fucking far away, and like you said, it's all relevant. It's all relative because the further away you move, the less job opportunities there are, so the less money you get.
Yep.
And what good is it if your rent is $200 a week if you're earning fuck all?
Yeah, exactly right. There is, and it's just getting harder and harder for people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't understand why anyone would vote Labor back in. I already knew that it was all bullshit lies. Everyone was calling
Mm,
it as
mm,
people were
mm.
voting, saying he's lying. He hasn't even
Yep.
built one house from last year. How's he going to build another so-called 100,000 or million houses this year when he hasn't built one since the last 3 terms? So I actually voted One Nation.
Hey,
Funnily enough, I
look,
voted One Nation. I thought, why not? It can't get any worse, but it's better than
they
voting for
really
the
are
major
becoming the
parties.
the lesser of the three evils, to be honest. One
To be
nation.
fair,
I
and
mean,
I'm hoping people wake up at the next election and vote One Nation just to see what could change or what the
mm, mm,
possibilities are. Do I agree with everything she says? No, but she does fight for Australians, and she does have the best interest of Australians at the forefront.
yeah,
Whereas Albanese lies through his teeth. He stutters when he answers questions, and if you ask him a question that isn't pre-populated, as in pre-scripted for him, he'll just
yeah.
fob you off and go, "I'm not answering that," and he'll move on to the next reporter. So he
Mm,
can't answer the hard questions. When it comes to cost of living or a question that's not on the agenda that has been pre-populated for an answer, he won't answer it, or he'll fob you off as if you're a nobody. So
yeah, well, it's
that's
because
not
he's
a
a
prime
puppet.
minister you want
He hasn't
leading a
been
country.
given the answer to that question. He's a puppet.
Exactly. He can't think on his feet. And actually, if he
Mm,
gave a shit, you'd have an answer regardless of the question. You don't
that's
see
right. If he
Donald
gave a
Trump
shit,
turning around fucking going, "Oh, give me a pre-popular, answers. If someone asks me this, what can I answer?" He just, "What's your question?" "Right, this is my answer." "What's your question?"
yeah,
"This is my
that's right.
answer."
Like
Like,
like when he first came into office, I wasn't a big fan of Trump, right? But then I'm still not a big fan of his. But I started watching him. I started actually paying attention to him and going, he's got one thing on the rest of these politicians, right, that none of them have. And you know what that thing is, Swagman? If Donald Trump says he's going to do something, it doesn't matter how bad it is or
he does that.
how unpopular it is, he fucking does it.
Yeah. Anything
He
he
says
says he's going to
he's
do, he actually
Yep.
does it.
He says
And
he's
if
gonna build a wall between the United States and Mexico. Most people hated it, but he did it.
he did it. He actually did it. It got to a point where he said, "Okay, Mexico pay for the other half," but
Yep.
he actually
Yep.
built some sort of wall there to stop something coming through. He
Yeah.
can't stop all of them, but he's made it
Well,
harder for him to come across,
it's
really.
it's not gonna stop airplanes coming over or boats coming around, but
That's it, but he's done something. He's
yeah.
done what he said he was going to do, and that's the main thing. Whereas over here, we've got a prime minister that says he's gonna do something and he doesn't do it, or he does
Yeah.
a half-assed job
They
of
love
it,
to
or he invests money, billions of dollars in the wrong area. Like, if we were to go to
mm,
war, for instance, right now, we're fucked. China would blow us out of the water in about 2 fucking seconds. We may as well raise the white fucking flag and go, "We're fucking done."
and
Because
if you've
what's the point
been
even trying to waste our artillery on an army that's gonna completely wipe us out anyway? You're gonna
if you've
kill.
been paying attention to what's going on overseas right now, you'll know that we are going to war pretty soon.
We are pretty much at the forefront of beginning to start war. They're already ramping up
Yeah.
the ads in the ADF. People have even said bring back the mandatory military service to say, okay, if you fuck up and you're a criminal, we're going to send you off to the military. You know, make that an
Mm.
option. Instead of going to jail, do you want to go to jail or do you want to go to the military? So you got an option: prison or military, and that'll
And the
be your
shit thing
option.
is, if I'd picked prison, I would have gotten out today.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So it is one of those things where I think they should bring back the corporal punishment, but also bring back the mandatory joining the ADF. Once you hit the age of 18, you've got
Mm.
a choice. Like, you know, do you want to join the ADF? You don't have to meet any sort of criteria. It's, do you want to join the ADF? Yes or no. If you say no, right, go off, do your own thing. You say yes, you can go straight into the military. No stupid aptitude test, but they're going to put you through your paces. So then, because most people are good with their hands and thinking on their feet, most people can't sit behind a computer and answer fucking an A, B, C, D question, you know,
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
not good on paper, but they're great in person and they can work
Mm.
well with their hands and they're great theoretically, working physically out in the field. They're great. That's just the paperwork side of things, and that'll stump them up. So
Mm.
they're the kind of people you really want in the
Well,
field.
that's it. They're the ones that can think on their feet rather than looking at a computer screen or a book and go, "Okay, so these are the answers to this test." It's like, "No, nerd. We can." Anyway, my look, um, I know if that happens,
Oh,
I
we're all
will
going to
be
get called
I'd
for it.
I'd be considered a draft dodger because I I have already tried to join the military, and I can tell you this time around won't be any different because I have a hearing problem.
Yeah, I got told that I can't join based on life experience.
Yeah.
So apparently, I don't have life experience. At the age of well, I would have been what 30 when I applied.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't have life experience. Was their reasoning, and all that was
Okay.
being in the office. I was just going to be, um, yeah, working in field technician or something like that that they had me
Mm.
as. But yeah, life experience, and I didn't meet the minimum requirements for their aptitude. Didn't have year 12, didn't have
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
11, didn't have year 10. So there was a lot of boxes I didn't tick for them. They just want the smartest of the smart who can, you know, year 12, but they're the people you don't want in the office. Why would you want someone that, oh, yeah, I graduated year 12, but he's a complete dipshit in the field, you
Yeah.
know?
You
So
graduated year 12, but do you know how to dial a rifle?
yeah. Do you know how to use this
Mm.
communications device? Do you know your phonetics? And they might turn around and go, "Nah, but I'll tell you what string theory is." So completely fucking useless, mate.
I know what string theory is. String theory is the name of a music shop in one of my favorite books, The Midnight Library.
That's it. Alrighty, guys, that is probably us. We are going to we're shooting off into past our hour time now for the first time in history. But hey, that's what this
Hey,
podcast
we
is
could
all
keep
about now.
going too.
We could, and I believe I think we get to our limit per our episode, so we could theoretically go for another hour.
No, we don't
Uh,
have we don't have a limit. We pay Riverside for this
ah,
shit.
that's right.
This
We're
is
in
their
the
job.
yeah, we're on the medium side now, aren't we? Yeah, that's right. Alrighty, guys. Well,
I mean, we're almost verging on bloody Steve Vanderheiden next episode.
Three-Wheeled Bicycle. Check their
Oh
podcast out.
fuck,
Amazing. They're funny.
he
They're
goes
great.
to like the 3 hour mark
Oh,
sometimes.
mate, their crew's amazing. They've got a full setup. They've got a full studio garage setup, and they could just go and go.
Uh huh.
So, but guys,
That's it.
I'm going to shoot off now. Um,
Yep.
Once
Yep.
again, it's been a great episode, and next week Sunday, uh, we will have another great episode for you.
Yeah. I truly
Stay
look forward to it.
tuned.
And this coming week, I'll be taking the boy for his first rugby match,
Oh,
first
nice,
live rugby match.
nice,
So
nice.
I'll be letting you all know how that goes.
Awesome. All right, I'm looking
All
forward to
right.
next week's episode.
Take care, mate. And
Take it easy,
talk to you
Cranky.
next week.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. G'day, guys. You obviously know who this is. It is Swag Man. That's right, the king of the beast of In the Zone. Usually got me co-host here today, but I tell you what, we're just having a break, small interval while I tell you about on-track meals. So, you ever been out on site with your stomach rumbling like a freight train and all you got is a smashed banana in your bag from 2 shifts ago? You know that shit's going to be black as black. So, you ain't eating it. It's going to look miserable. It's going to look like shit. And then you're going to start thinking, fuck, should have gone down and hit the servo with the rest of the boys, got that pie out of the pie warmer. And I tell you what, I'm going to save you the hassle and the disappointment of all that. Something better for you. Something that's called on track meals, hot, tasty, and made for folks like us, working long hours, keep things moving. You know, we only get what, a 15-minute break sometimes. And if we're lucky, we might get 30 minutes. So I can tell you your best avenue for on track meals to use your time in that 15 minutes is to pop one of these bad boys in a hot heater bag. So here we go. And the best part is of these meals is there is a large variety. And if you use the code word in the zone 10 in all capitals, you'll get a further 10% discount at the checkout. Not bad, huh? On track meals, slow cooked, quick to eat, perfect for people who take their time, but still get the job done. Anyway, I'll see you back at the episode. Take it easy. Get on to it, guys.